All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube tonight. We're having some streaming issues. Looks like we're good to go now at this point, and hopefully this stabilizes. I'll just put in a notice for everybody to read. I think YouTube is having some streaming issues tonight. Please be patient. And it may stabilize and be good, but and all right, looks like we're back. Please be aware, we probably disconnected like maybe 3 times so far during this live stream. So I'm going to keep it up and just see what we can get accomplished this evening. I see another one that just came in the room. YouTube is having some streaming issues tonight. I do not know what's going on. I've kind of disconnected, or I guess the stream is couple times, and well, I don't know, but at any rate, let's get those questions in. Hopefully the signal is stable now. Can you guys hear me okay? Anybody in the room, just say yes if you can hear me. My audio is coming across good. Again, YouTube is having some issues tonight. I'm about to get into the questions that I have on the roster. And if you guys have any questions in the meantime, feel free to just go ahead and sit up on the board there. And present them. Hey, TJ. And the other night I was sitting there, and I don't know what's going on with Skype, dude. Like, you were sat there, no. Okay, maybe you got hung up at work or whatever. So, we'll talk later. I'm thinking maybe we can piggyback you in on a session or something like that, just so you can get some problem solving time in. All right, but it's good you can hear me. I got the mic charged up and all that and everything. Yeah, like it's done this like 3 times. So just be patient. If I see it start doing the little swirly thing, I'll just pause where I'm at and continue when my little visual cue comes back. All right, so, and I wonder if this is going to come out choppy or not. But we will see. It's when I look at the DVR presentation. Okay, going in. So I'm hitting the email. If you guys have emails, I've received a lot of emails from people that were not able to make the stream tonight, and this is DVRable, so they know that they can catch it after it's recorded, after they get off work or whatever. So anybody new to the room, if you are new to the room, or if you're watching this video and you're new, I am Kino from STEMwithKino.com. Basically, if you are preparing for the ASVAB, OAR, ASTB, AFOQT, this one, ASVAB, I think I said ASVAB already, or any pilot computer test, private pilot, instrument pilot, commercial pilot, airline transfer pilot, flight instructor, initial, multi-engine, instrument, ground school. I've obtained all the ratings in my career, and so I am an authority. They say if you have 5 years of experience in anything, you are an authority. I've had way more than 5 years experience in the aviation field and being a math and science tutor. And I like to think I'm a really good one. I help a lot of people, and that's really cool. What it's all about. It's about the people. At any rate, let me dig into the questions. I won't sit here and listen to me talk all night. Quit yapping. Do some problems. Okay. And it's kind of cool because we got a pretty good mixture. We even got I don't know. I was talking to some guys at an airport. They said, "Yeah, man, listen to some questions because I don't understand this or I don't understand that pertaining to aviation." So, I'm digging in the email. Feel free to provide more questions, and I will bounce back and forth between what I have on my docket and okay, the first one is pertaining to the best way to prepare for the verbal analogies, portions of these military aptitude tests. Just like the SAT or any other aptitude test that you're having. And I encourage you guys to talk to the young people in your family that are like in the 8th grade, 9th grade. Okay. If you really want to bone up your vocabulary, I get this every month. It is the Reader's Digest. Okay. Shout out to Reader's Digest. And they're not paying me for that. Send me a check. But in the back of Reader's Digest, you have word power. Okay. And I have some friends that work for ETS, which is the Educational Testing Service, and they make a lot of aptitude tests. And a lot of words that they get come from Reader's Digest and word power. So let's say your cousin or whatever, your little brother, your little sister is, they're in the 8th grade. Tell them to get the Reader's Digest. You can find this at Walmart. A lot of the transit centers, like at the train stations and stuff like that, they normally have a magazine stand. And just have them read it. Have them read some of the stories as well. There's a lot of information in here, some humorous stuff and everything like that, and some personal stories and stuff like that. It's just really good reading. At the same time, with the word power, you're building your vocabulary. Building your vocabulary in like a month or two it's not going to happen. You might pick up a couple words here and there, but here's the thing. How should I say it? Vocabulary is something that builds slowly. You know what I mean? It's like growing hair. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay? It's a slow progression. And so building your vocabulary is also a slow progression if you do it right. So that's why I always recommend the Reader's Digest to like a lot of the parents of my clients that I tutor and stuff like that. If you say, okay, well, I'm going to take 2 months to prepare for this test and build my vocabulary, you can look at, if you really, really have to cram, I would recommend looking at some root words, like Greek roots and stuff like that, like mal means bad, malfunction, malo, and Spanish meaning bad. So sometimes there's some books like that you can kind of look at words and kind of pick them apart and look at them and dissect them and stuff like that. But nah, it's something I would rather just do it the nice, slow, easy way. Because every month you get a new Reader's Digest and there's new words, and then you're slowly building your vocabulary that way. But a lot of these words in the Reader's Digest, they use on aptitude tests. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Next question. Okay, it looks like it came back. And guys, like I said before, the stream, I don't know, YouTube is having some streaming issues tonight. And I've been noticing that with some other YouTube content providers, they've been talking about this. And I was going to say a little morbid joke, but I'm not going to do that. All right. This question is concerning buoyancy. I think this is probably something that you would find on the aviation selection test battery or the OAR. And Archery 156, Erie, PA, good. Erie, PA is an interesting place, but I will. All right, so in this question, they have 3 balls, all right, and 3 different positions, all right. So, you have ball 1, you have ball 2, and you have ball 3. All right. And the arrows will represent the amount or the magnitude of forces acting on the ball. Okay. So, basically, what the question is asking, and this would probably be on the mechanical part, is which one of these balls is the hardest to hold underwater? Okay, and Newton's third law of motion, for every force there's an equal opposite force. So this is you, this force represents you holding the ball down, and this is the force of the air trying to get back up to the surface of the water. All right, so you have this one, not a whole lot of strength. You have one that's close to a ball that's close to the surface. This one is not so bad. All right, it's not. You can hold it like a couple inches under the water, no problem. But the further you push that ball down, the more strength you're going to need to actually like hold it down. This would be the hardest ball to hold under the water. That was a really good question because not a lot of people ask questions about buoyancy. All right. And again, I'm going to keep saying, like, YouTube has been having some streaming issues tonight. And so I may freeze a little bit, but don't worry. Don't be patient is all I'm saying. All right. A lot of math. You guys are asking a lot of mechanical questions. Here is here's a gear question. And here is my little approach to gear questions. You're going to have a number of teeth. My sock. They're not my socks. I don't use these socks. I actually bought a 2-pack of socks because I think the cotton is just better when I'm swiping. But I bought a 2-pack pair of socks just to be erasers. All right, back to my point. All right, so when you have gear questions, all right, normally you're going to look at the mechanical advantage. I call it a gear ratio. It's probably not a gear ratio, but for instance, let's say this gear has 20 teeth and this gear has 10 teeth. All right, it's going to be smaller. All right, so I call it a gear ratio, but I take the number of smaller teeth, or take the number of larger teeth and divide it by the number of smaller teeth. So 20 divided by 10 equals 2. All right, and so what this means is for every one time that this gear rotates, this gear is going to have to rotate 2 times to keep up. All right, so if this bigger gear rotated 300 times, that means that the smaller gear is going to rotate 600 times. So that's my approach. When I see gear questions, I just look for the number of teeth. Divide the larger number of teeth by the smaller number of teeth, and then you'll get the multiplier, meaning that if this rotates 1 time, this is going to have to do it twice as much, or rotate twice as much. So, gear questions are really not that bad. It's just a lot of people don't know how to approach them. And that was the wrong window. All right. Archery 156. I don't think I've ever seen you in the room before. I know I'm back and forth looking at questions and a lot going on, but I don't recognize that tag or that name. So, welcome to the room. Normally here every week. And actually, you know what? I just thought about it. This is the last Friday of the month. So everybody's free to come into the Google Hangout. Everybody. So normally the Google Hangout is restricted to my clients, but the last one of the month, I let everybody come in. So, you do have an opportunity to see what goes on, and you can present questions, and you can actually talk to me. All right. Okay. All right. I feel like it was my. All right. Okay, this is like a basic one. I will do. A circle has a diameter of 12 centimeters. What is its area? All right, so we have a circle. And it has a diameter of 12 centimeters. And we want to know the area. So the formula for the area of a circle, area equals pi r squared. Now, I always talk about circumference, and the way to differentiate between the two, whether we're looking for circumference or area. 2 pi r. And my little connection or memory aid to say, okay, well, how do I remember? So I remember circumference, 2 pi r. And to remember the area, I say that the 2 jumps on top of the r, so pi r squared. So that's what I say, the 2 jumps on top of the r, and that's how you find area. Now, they gave us diameter. We know that half of the diameter is the radius, so that will be 6 centimeters. All right, our answer selections are 38 centimeters squared, or square centimeters, 113 square centimeters, 276 square centimeters, if I could talk tonight, and 452 square centimeters. Okay, so all we have to do is plug the radius into the formula, and this is 3.14. Now the radius is going to be squared, so this will be 6 squared. Order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And so what happens is this is going to be multiplied, it's going to be 36. So I'm going to say 3.14 times 36. Now, the interesting thing I'm going to see if I can do. like I said, the answers are 38, 113, 276, and 452. Sometimes it's all about time shaping. All right. So I'm looking at 36 and 3, and it should be higher than 90. So I would take a stab. If I was running out of time, I would hit B, because 38 square centimeters is too low. 113 runs around my target answer. So even 30 times 3 is 90, right? But we have 36, so it would be more. So, like I said, our answers are 38, 113, which I believe is the answer, 276, and 452. These answers are spread out so far, so we don't really need to zero in on the answer. So I would just say, boom, 113 and be done with it. I would move on. So you killed that question, and you're moving on, you're solving more questions, and you're building more points. Now, so let's solve this out all the way. So, all right, 24, 8, 18, 0, 12, 4, 9, 4, 10, 13, 11. All right. So 113.04. So you saw how I used my little estimation trick and got the answer. That's what I would have done. I would have stopped right there. I would have said, okay, 36 times 3, 90. What's closest to 90? Boom, and I would have moved on. So these are little test tricks that you can use, because a lot of times you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be like, you got to find ways to really nail these questions sometimes if you're not very good at math. Back to the email. Another interesting trick that I teach my clients is about squaring numbers that end in 5. Okay, I read this like in a book somewhere, and it's just something that I've adopted, and I've been teaching it for a while. Whenever you're squaring a number that ends in 5, hence, and let me just come back to the question, because the question is stating the length of a square is 15 centimeters. What is its area? Okay, our answers are 30, 60, 150, and 225. So the length of a square is 15. That means to find the area. Area of a square equals length times width. All right, which would be 15 times 15, which would be 15 squared. Whenever I see 15 squared, I look at the 1 and I ask myself, what is the next consecutive number? The next consecutive number is 2. All right. Whenever we're squaring a number that ends in 5, the last 2 digits of that number is always going to be 25. And 1 times 2 is 2. Answer 225. Done. All right. So when you know you have to square a number and it ends in 5, that is like the easy way to approach. Okay, this is a SIFT question. I have like a helicopter simulation video where you can kind of see it, but I will draw it on the board. All right. So in the helicopter, the question is, which of the following is located on the left of the pilot's seat? All right, and they give us some answers. So let's just say you're actually sitting in the seat and you're looking down. All right, and and your legs would be like this. Okay, and your feet would be in contact with the anti-torque pedals. You would have a stick with a roller kind of grip, that is the throttle. This is the collective. Torque pedals, anti-torque pedals. There are no torque pedals, there's anti-torque pedals. All right. In between your legs is a stick, and this is called the cyclic. SCYCLIC thing. Just making, and the throttle is in here, which is the twist grip. This might be a little bit of a trick question. Which of the following is located on the left of the pilot's seat? I would have to say throttle, because you call it a collective, not collective pitch. And just like anti-torque pedals, we call them anti-torque pedals, not torque pedals. The cyclic is a cyclic, not like cyclic pitch. So either E, our answer selections are collective pitch, torque pedals, anti-torque pedals, cyclic pitch, and throttle. So in the cockpit in the helicopter, I would have to go with throttle. All right. Speed. Yeah. So that is my answer to that question. Not a whole lot of math questions. This is strange, but it's okay. This is a question about a particular aircraft. All right. And the aircraft that they are talking about is the AH-64. And what it's asking about are the two letters ahead of the number. All right. And this tells the purpose, or tells you, or indicates the purpose of the helicopter. So the A is for attack, and the H is for helicopter. I'll just put helo for short. All right. So this is a aircraft letter designation. It's a prefix. Like you've heard of the F-15, the F-18. Sometimes it'll be the nickname. All right. Like the let me see, F-15 Eagle, F-16 Falcon, F-14 Tomcat, A-6 Intruder, B-58 Hustler. That's an old airplane. P-51 Mustang. Now, those are older letter designations because the P-51 was actually a fighter aircraft. And I think it also had an attack role. All right, so what's the attack role for? The attack role is typically you're going to be eliminating ground targets, personnel, if need be, enemy troops like that, fire suppression. maybe you want to just unload, help them keep their heads down. Close air support. All right. You may have friendly troops here, and you have enemy troops here. And these guys may be either very large, a much larger force, or heavily armed. Maybe more armor than your friendly forces. So then the attack helicopter goes in and, hits them and, takes some of them out. Maybe level the playing field so that the friendlies can control that particular grid. So that is close air support. Or maybe these guys are launching mortar rounds and picking off your friendly units. And then so we'll send in like helicopters. So not only can helicopters do it, but say something like the AV-8, the Harrier. Again, we have the attack letter designation, and then we have V, which is VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing. All right. So the letters give you an idea or indication what the aircraft does. So I'll just go through a little run through for you guys. And let's see how well this happens. Okay, so let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so strangely, I just went through the alphabet just to see how many letter designations that the alphabet covers. So this guy's attack. It's an attack aircraft. Ground, we hit this aircraft, attacks ground targets and provides close air support. This is a bomber, the B-1, the B-2 Spirit, the stealth bomber. All right. And that's really interesting, that nickname, the Spirit, because you don't really, technically, you don't see, you're really not supposed to see a Spirit, I don't think. I'm not sure how that works. Ask a person that's really heavy in religion. But I don't really think you can see a Spirit. Okay, so it's a stealth bomber. You're really not supposed to see it on radar, or when you see it, it's really too late. But that was interesting. C is transport. The C5, the C-141, the C-130. E, I'm just going to put elect for short, electronic countermeasures. The E-2C, the AWACS plane, not cargo. C-4, yeah, C is cargo. Yeah, I'm sorry. Transport cargo. Good catch. Okay. Cargo, but I'm thinking transport aircraft. But if you're moving cargo, you're transporting stuff. But at any rate, F is the fighter. H, I'll just put helo for helicopter. K, aerial refueler. Fuel. KC-135. So it's a KC. It is cargo and it refuels. All right, KC-135. The P3. This is the P3 Orion. Orion is the nickname, but this is a sub chaser. Anti-submarine. The S, surveillance. All right, the SR-71. That is an interesting plane. You know, that plane flew so fast. I think that thing could hit like 1,800 miles an hour or something like that. But aerodynamically, the friction from the air molecules and the metals made the metals of that aircraft actually expand something like 6 inches. and it like leaks like crazy because of the expansion or something like that. I forget. But the SR-71 serves surveillance reconnaissance. T, the trainer. T-38, Talon. T-37, Tweet. The T-6, T-34, Mentor, U.S. Navy. The Air Force was using them too. But now they use the T-6. What is the T-6? Texan. U, utility. The UH-1, the Huey, real big in Vietnam. V, vertical takeoff and landing. A V-8 Harrier attack, and it has vertical takeoff and landing capability like a helicopter. X is experimental, and Y is prototype. All right. So I know it's a little bit, a little chicken shot. Looks like a chicken scratch, but attack, bomber, cargo. And thanks, Hallam Berserker, for the cargo, because I'm thinking transport. Electronic counters, F fighter, helo, refueler, P3 sub chaser, SR surveillance reconnaissance, T trainer, U utility, V vertical takeoff and landing, X experimental, and Y is prototype. The prototype is interesting because, like, let's say like the F-117, when it was on the manufacturer's table, it was the YF-117, or it was the YF-35, or the YF-22. All right. So it is a prototype, but it's kind of even letting you know what the job of this particular aircraft is going to be. And thank you, Patrol, P3. All right. It is Patrol. All right. So, yeah. So, very, very interesting. Sometimes the aptitude tests, and I think this leans towards, I don't think this is something you will find in the ASVAB, but definitely the officer candidates testing. So it's interesting. That was a good question. And a lot of information came out in that one question. But let me get a couple clears if everybody's good to go and nobody has any questions. Okay, I have really been, how should I say it, having to kind of remind people of percent problems. Sometimes the percent problems will be asked a couple of ways. But the base formula is over of is normally equal to the unknown percent over 100%. And basically, this is like, it's a proportion. So we cross multiply and divide. All right. So a lot of people have really been like kind of, hey, what percent of, I don't know, 38 is 15 in this case. And so you have to look at the wording. What percent of 38 is 15? All right, so you have to see what the of is attached to the 38, the is attached to the 15. So this is basically where the numbers go. The of goes on the bottom, the is there, so 15 goes on the top. All right, so what percent? That's what we're looking for. So we have an unknown percent we're looking for over 100%. And we're always going to cross multiply and divide. We cross multiply when we have either these two guys or these two guys. All right, whatever the unknown is going to be the unknown, but we cross multiply by the two crossing each other, and then we divide by 38. All right, so the cool thing about this is that 15 times 100. If it was 15 times 10, 15 times 1 is 15, add a 0. If it was 15 times 100, 15 times 1 is 15, add 2 zeros. If it was 15 times 1,000, 15 times 1 is 15, then add the 3 zeros. So that's like some rapid math that you can do. All right. The trouble part is a lot of people do not or have not how should I say this? A lot of people have not done long division. No calculators allowed on this test. And there's something called the theory of disuse. If you don't use it, you lose it. Think about something you used to do really, really good, long time, years ago. And you're out of practice. And you don't have a limit or level of currency in it. Some people have issues like riding a bike. Like, I used to ride bikes all day long. And then they're riding and they can't do it. So, no worries though. So we have 1,500 and that must be divided by, and I was at a decimal for accuracy, 38. All right, so, and let me see if this is even big enough, guys. All right. So, we look at 38. How many times does 38 go into 1? 0 times. How many times can 38 go into 15? 0 times. Can 38 go into 150? So we start out with one number. All right, we can't go into 0 and 1, 0. We have 15. Can 38 go into 15? I'll just put a 0 up there as a placeholder just to keep me in check. And then, how many times can 38 go into 150? So I'm thinking around 40. 40 times 4 would be 160. But I think that would be cutting it a little bit too close. So you just have to do a little trial and error. Because everybody asks, is there like a quicker way we could do this? No, you just got to use trial and error when you're doing it by hand. You don't have a calculator. So 38 times 4, 2, 3. Okay, 12. All right. So like I said, I figured that was too big. So 38 times 4 is not going to work. But keep that because we may need it later. To estimate. So 3 is what we're going to use, 24. All right, 114. All right, so 38 times 3 can go to 150, 114. Then what we must do is subtract. For all my guys out there that have not done so. This is a 0. 4 cannot be subtracted from 0. So we take some energy off the 5 and drop it to a 4. 4, 3, 10, and 6. So once we drop this from a 5 to a 4, we add a 1 here to make that 0 a 10. All right, and 10 minus 4 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we have 36 now. Now the next move is to drop a 0. So now we have 360. How many times can 38 go into 360? 10 would be too much because 38 times 10 is 380. All right, so then I'm thinking, let's look at 9. 2, 7, 4, 27, 34. Okay, 9 works. All right. 3, 4, 2. We have to subtract that. Also, let's not forget our decimal. And again, 2 can't be subtracted from 0. So 5, 1, 8, drop a 0. 180. Okay. So we have 180. And luckily, we've already done some math. All right. 40, yeah. So that works. So I have 39.4 as an answer. So what percent of 38 is 15? All right, it is 39.4%. All right, so you just plug in the information, and we'll do that. We'll do some more in the Google Hangout, which I'm about to do. Now, everybody is invited to the Google Hangout. All you need to do is send me an email so I can send you the link. A couple things about the Google Hangout. It is best if you have a Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, it will send you a link, and then it takes you through all this stuff because it's like, oh, you're not a part of the family. I guess that's how they look at it. But if you are interested in the Google Hangout, please send me an email, and we can continue. And you guys could actually talk to me, and we see each other. And it's basically like a video conference. And if you have questions, you can ask questions during the Google Hangout and stuff. Instead of this live stream is more like a lecture. What else did I want to say? So there's really not a whole lot we're going to get done in 4 minutes, okay? But we can continue whatever questions you do have in the Google Hangout. I'm Kino with STEMwithKino.com. If you guys are prepared for the ASVAB, the AFOQT, the SIFT, the United States Navy, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, Aviation Selection Test Battery, Officer Aptitude Rating, then, you know, this is what this channel's for. This is why I do it, because these exams are pretty tough. And you're limited because you only have either 2 to 3 times to take them in your whole life. So that's why I don't really recommend your recruiters will sometimes say, well, just take it, see how you do. Well, you only have 3 times to take the ASTB in your life. All right. The SIFT and the AFOQT, you only get 2 times. You might be able to get a waiver. It's going to be like pulling teeth from a lion. So not something I would want to do. So that's really about it. I'll be back next Friday, 9 o'clock, and 10 to 11 for the Google Hangout. So if you are interested in the Google Hangout, if you want to come in, it's free. It's the last Friday of the month, and I always, offer free to people that are not clients of mine. So send me those emails, and I will talk to you guys soon. And this is the part where I give you guys the finger. Bye.